How are you?
Present, I'm good. I'm guessing you don't want us to make any bus for Canton yet for Trevion Henderson, but I'm guessing you think he might have gotten off to a kind of a good Patriots debut today and got the team rolling today.
Well, I think that was one of the phases that we talked that was going to be so critical, and it's hard to really rep full speed. And we got a few of them against Washington, and I think that we saw some things that we could improve on, and that's exactly what we did. And I think Trevion read it out and hit the hole, and everybody else blocked and finished and did all those good things. So it's a step in the right direction, and I think it's exciting anytime that you can. We talk about how critical a phase of the game is going to be, and to come out here and be able to work on it.
Mike, it looked like Efton Chisholm got off to a good start tonight. What did you see from him that maybe stood out?
Well, I think his play strength stood out to me, from the sideline. I think the way that he blocks and his ability to catch the ball in traffic. The ball was basically tipped or bobbled, coming out of Ben's hand and kind of ran through a tackle and ran through contact, and then we threw him the screen. So those are all positive things. I think his play strength to me is what stood out.
And Roach in the back.
Mike, just thought on Drake's performance, and I'm sure the turnover probably annoyed you with what he did.
Are you asking and answering a
Just
question
no,
at
your
the
thoughts.
same time? Is that what you're doing?
I got you. Your thoughts.
I would say you about summed it up. That's a bad decision. I think we're going to need better from him, and I think he knows that, and that's obvious. So, wasn't there, and we just have to be able to find a way to get rid of the football or take a sack and punt and play defense. But to the defense's credit, they forced a field goal. I think that was missed maybe, but they got a couple. It was a sudden change opportunity.
Daniel's far right.
Right over here, Mike. DJ James continues to have a solid summer. Just your impression of him and the interception tonight and the work he continues to do for you.
I think that it's always exciting to see players that take advantage of opportunities. And since DJ was one of the players that was here for rookie minicamp, and I would say that since that day and that weekend, he's continued to improve. And I think he's taken advantage of that. And so I'm always for players that get better, take coaching. It's on them, obviously, to improve, and so that's all to DJ's credit. And so I'm excited for him that he can put into work and then start to see it translate onto the field.
Mike.
Hi.
I can't imagine a lot of instances of you going outside the stadium 90 minutes before kickoff, but how important was it for you to be at Tom's ceremony, and what was it like for you being there and quickly getting back into the game mode?
Well, I think it made it a little easier just because it was, it's a preseason game and there's maybe probably not as much going on. I mean, there's still the schedule and everything and meeting with the officials and the team and the coaches. But, it was always important for me to be out there. And, I thought you saw the amount of people that were there to support him, people on the commander's side, former teammates, just having somebody like that be a part of this organization, pretty unique, pretty special. So glad that I was able to be a part of it for a little bit.
Hi, Mike. I'm curious with Will Campbell and Jared Wilson, I'm curious how you thought they did on the left side tonight, because it seemed like on the fumble that they might have missed that block, but at the same time, Will Campbell, and they were pushing guys forward. So just how you thought they did overall.
Well, I think the play demeanor showed, and I think that there was a game maybe that, a pass rush game, it looked like to me, and those are something that we'll continue to work hard on. We were able to pick them up in the practice. They ran a few of them over there against us in practice. We just have to be able to carry that execution into the game. But I certainly did see their play demeanor kind of stand out, and I think that that's a good place to start is with that and being downfield and finishing through the whistle and everything that we embrace here.
Mike, we saw Jalen Pollock leave for the locker room after the carry. Just curious if there's an update on him.
No update right now. He'll get more testing and see our doctors, and wasn't able to finish the game.
Mike, obviously you want to establish consistency in the preseason and in training camp. So how important is it for you that on this first game, only 2 penalties for 15 yards?
Well, we had a couple that were, really offsetting, so we still fouled them. It wasn't like we were really, really clean. I thought operationally we were pretty good. Felt like everybody was on the same page in substitution and getting in and out of the huddle. And they don't huddle, they sub, and sometimes they stand over it and sometimes they don't. So I felt like defensively that was a good challenge for us to be able to play a game like that with a team that really doesn't want to huddle. And but when you can have that many, we had a few kickoff returns and did not have any penalties there. We had the one that was offsetting on the punt. Those are critical because there's so much field position that gets changed when you have penalties on punt returns and kickoff returns. So it's a good start. It's a good start for everything that we were talking about, and give us some more to coach. We have to tackle better, and we'll have to throw the football better going forward. But I thought that this was a good place to start.
Two final questions. Karen, where are you getting?
Javon Baker made a couple of special teams tackles, and I thought you were encouraged by that on the sideline. But is it good to see someone who's trying to contribute in more than one phase in terms of trying to make the team?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. When you have players, and especially receivers, that can create a role and they can help you and they can be big and physical and everything that we see out of Javon as a receiver, when you can embrace that and they can embrace that as special teams players, guys that are big and physical and fast and willing, that translates to special teams. So excited and just happy for Javon, just being able to go out there and contribute. And when you do those things, your teammates get excited, and hopefully his confidence continues to grow.
Mike, over here. You mentioned the passing game is something you can improve. I was wondering, obviously it's early, but what did you think contributed to that, whether it was separation?
I think the way that the game kind of unfolded with the kickoff and, going for a touchdown and, defensive turnover. And, I felt like we had some opportunities. Maybe the ball was batted. I thought we had CJ for a touchdown there. He was open. And then just the protection, I guess, on the third down. So it wasn't like we had a whole lot of opportunities early. We were able to kind of convert and score, running the football. And then, Drake scrambled, right? So, again, I'm all for him using his ability to run, when it's there, and you saw him slide and then you saw him be able to run in the end zone. So, maybe just kind of how the game unfolded early. We hit some passes late. I think Ben settled down. I was excited to see him settle down and, hit some passes. And John Giles, who busts his tail to block and play special teams, and, had a huge catch there. And felt everybody played, which I'm excited for. And, we talked about there were some players that didn't get to play on Wednesday or practice, and that they were going to get an opportunity on Friday night. And I was happy to see them take advantage of it, and proud that they could be excited about it.